to the mat. It's great to have you here, that you're joining me on this online adventure. That's all I can call it. Anyways, let's bring our hands to our heart. Find a good sitting position where your sit bones are firmly grounded on the floor and where you have a nice distance between your hips and under your armpits. Close your eyes, turn your attention inwards, bring your awareness to your breath. On this fine and beautiful morning, and we will open with 3 Oms. Exhale, inhale. 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 Open your eyes, release your hands. Word of the day is Bealtaine. So yesterday was the Celtic festival, pagan festival, Bealtaine. Back before religion and so on, people used to celebrate the turning of the seasons, and Bealtaine was a big one. It's really the welcoming of summer. May would have been the hungry time of year, the time when the winter supplies started to run out and before the new crops were completely in. So people often didn't like this time of the year, and so what they did was they built bonfires on the highest hills locally. So all down the west coast of Ireland last night, there would have been bonfires, the Mayfires on top of the hills. And it's just welcoming back in bountifulness and the looking forward to times that are less hard. And I just think it's a really good analogy for these times. Welcoming back in that there is light at the end of this tunnel of this whole COVID-19 thing, and that life will move in, life will change, and we will live in better times. And so no matter what way you woke up this morning, what you bring to your mat, through your practice, you will change. And on the other side of your practice, when you complete after Shavasana, you will notice changes in your body and take that off your mat and out into your life. The other thing I just wanted to say about the Bealtaine, it lies halfway between the spring equinox and the summer solstice. So whilst officially the 1st of May, it would have been at this time of the year. People weren't that precise back in the day. It was the season. But there would have been things like flowers would have been spread in front of people's houses on pathways by anonymous people, other people, to wish good health and wealth to the people within the houses, to keep away negative spirits, negative energy from the houses. And also then this was taken up by the Catholic Church and probably by other churches, but certainly by the Catholic Church. I was raised a Catholic, and back in the day we would have made these May altars for Mary, the Mother of Christ. And so that was sort of happily adopted by the Catholic Church, but it is a really ancient ceremony and tradition, and I'm glad to welcome it back into our lives through yoga. Okay, without any further ado, make your way onto your hands and knees. And just one thing for today, really enjoy your practice. Get into it. If the pose doesn't suit you, wait for the next pose to come along. And also, if some of the poses, if you've got stuff going on in your body, just knowing that's enough for me, I'll wait for the next pose, yeah? You know, I'm not there looking at you. You can do whatever you wish. We'll see you at the other side in Shavasana. So come onto your hands and knees. Place your hands under your shoulders, your knees under your hips. And coming into cat-cow, moving with your breath. Exhale, round your back up. Inhale, lift your head, look up. Melt your heart, sink down between your shoulder blades. Exhaling, rounding up. And keep that going for another 5 rounds. Inhale, sinking down. Lift your head, look up. Exhaling, rounding up. Feel that lovely movement as your body begins to waken up. Inhale, sinking down. Arms straight, exhale, rounding up. Grip the floor with your fingertips. Inhale, sinking down. Keep it going. Body following your breath. Saying good morning to your body after the dormancy of the night before, and good morning to your life after dormancy of this winter. Coming back to a neutral space, walk your hands forward, turn your toes under, lift your hips up into down dog. Arms wider than shoulders. Externally rotate your upper arms, grip the floor with your fingertips, melt between your shoulders. And if you like, bring your down dog for a walk for a moment, just to waken up the knees and the ankles, pushing deep down into one heel while coming up onto the tips of the other toes, and just moving quickly and moving slowly, not quickly, moving with your breath. How lovely that feels. What a treat for your body. Coming back to a place of stillness, float forward into plank, so hands under shoulders, squeeze your inner heels together, engage your core. Keep your core nice and bright, no belly flops. Float forward into chaturanga, push up, either on your elbows or on your hands. So be mindful of what's good for you. Back up into down dog. Float forward into plank. Down into chaturanga, either on your elbows or on your hands. Back up into down dog. And 2 more rounds of that, just waking up your body, not frightening it awake. Back up into down dog. And last round. And just pausing a minute. Now make your way onto your hands and knees. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and moving into tiger. Lift your right arm out in front, turn your palm. If you held your 2 hands out in front, you'd be turning your palms towards each other. Okay. Inhale, lift your left leg out behind, and then stretch your tips of your fingers forward, the tips of your toes back. Engage your biceps, press the right foot into the floor, flare your toes. And release. and switch to the other side. Left arm up, right leg out behind. Hand in line with shoulder, heel in line with hip, gaze straight ahead. Flare your toes on your left foot. And press the top of your foot into the floor. And release. Now we get to do it all over again, but on the same side. So right arm out in front, right leg out behind. Wibbly wobbly pose. And switch to the other side. Shift onto your right knee, right hand, and lift your left arm out behind, or left leg out behind. And release. And moving into tremulosa. So I probably should have said at the start of the practice that you will need blocks, maybe have a belt with you. So I'm going to use blocks. 2 big books would also be used, you could use those. And I'm kind of suggesting to you that I'll go forward. It looks like we'll be online for a good while yet. It might be a good idea to buy yourself a set of blocks. You get them probably in Argos or Yoga Matters. If you're really stuck, give me a shout and I could sell you a couple of blocks if they're useful to have for your practice going forward. Anyways, come onto your hands and knees and cross your right leg, your right shin over your left calf and sit back in your heels. Yeah. And then what you're going to do is super glue your heels to your hips. And hands on the floor if you haven't got blocks. Hands on books or blocks or anything that you can get yourself a little bit higher off the floor. So I have my hands on these blocks here. You're super gluing your heels to your hips. Press down with your hands into the floor and lift off the floor for the count of 5. And release. And switch to the other side. And just notice the sensations in your body. Let's begin to wake up now. Your heart is beating and your chest is beginning to rise up and down at a little slightly faster rate. So sitting back in your heels, super glue your heels to your hips. Inhale and levitate. And gently release and pop your blocks off to one side. So moving into leg lifts, make your way to lying on your back. So if you have abdominal stuff going on, be really careful with this pose. Bend your knees, do it with one leg at a time, or sit it out and not do it at all. So lying on your back. Clasp your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers. Bring your elbows into the side of your face and lift your head off the floor. Bring your chin to your chest. Inhale, bring your knees into your chest and stretch your legs up. Exhale. Inhale, lower your legs to the floor and exhale and bring them back up. And see if you can do 3 sets of 5 or whatever's available for you today. You're endeavoring to bring your knees to your elbows, keeping your legs straight. Flex and point your feet. And make your way to sitting up. And come and stand up, moving into crescent pose. Standing in the middle of your mat, stand square. So line up the root of your second toe with the middle of your ankle. Press down equally with the four corners of your feet into the floor. Squeeze your shins in, squeeze your thighs, press your tailbone down, engage your core. And lift your right arm up by your ear and clasp your right biceps with your left hand. Move your hips to the right, your torso to the left. Lift your gaze. Keep squaring your hips, your shoulders to the front. Be as sideways as possible. Press down with your right foot into the floor. Then equally press down with your left foot. Inhale, make your way back up to center and switch arms. Stretch your left arm up. Clasp your left biceps with your right hand arm coming over the top of your head, and be as sideways as possible in the other direction. Inhale, come back up to center, and moving into power pose, hands band, feet together, more difficult, feet hip width apart, more doable. Clasp your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers. Inhale, lift your chest, stretch your spine, invite your shoulder blades onto your back. Bend your knees, lower your hips, round your back, bring your forehead to your knees, lift your arms off your back, and then sit back in your throne. And bring your arms to vertical or beyond. Wrists together, more difficult. Wrists apart, more doable. Inhale, press down, stand up. Just feel the sensations in your body. Noticing the rise and fall of your chest. Inhale, lift your arms out in front, point palms towards each other. Invite your shoulder blades onto your back by moving the head of the arm bones back into the shoulder socket. Keep that. Bend your knees, lower your hips, back straight, engage your core, and sink down, push down into your ankles. Lift your gaze. Often my gaze comes down because my computer's on the floor, so I'm speaking to you. But if you can remember to lift your chin, your eyes in line with the horizon. Inhale, press down, stand up, and moving into tree pose. Shift your weight onto your left foot and lift your right foot by placing your hand on your ankle, and either place it against your ankle, your shin, or your upper inner thigh. And bring your hands together as if in prayer. Then root down with the standing foot into the floor. Press your heel down. Square your hips, your shoulders to the front of the mat. Keep your hands here in front of your heart or lift them overhead. And bring your palms together, but don't interlace them. Move your arms into the back plane. Stretch your hands up. Lift your gaze. And gently release. And switch to the other leg. Shift your weight onto your right foot and lift your left foot and place your foot against your shin, your ankle, or your upper inner thigh. Press foot into leg, leg into foot. Bring your hands together as if in prayer. Square your hips to shoulders to the front of the room. Inhale, keep your hands here or lift them overhead. And stretch them up, root down. And gently release. From here, we'll make our way into Warrior Two. So step your feet wide apart. So perhaps it's a while since you've done Warrior Two, so do check that your feet are wide enough apart. And again, line up the root of your second toe with the middle of your ankle. Turn your right foot out. Line up your front heel with the middle of your back arch. Float your arms up. Be careful not to lean out over your front knee. So bend your front knee, sink down, move your front knee out in line with your second toe. Now, when you lean out over your front knee, it looks like this, okay? So keep your body right in the middle, right, upright, and then sinking down, and then look out over your right hand arm. Hand, arm, shoulders in line with each other. Keep moving your front knee out. Press the outside edge of your back foot into the floor, engage your quad. Lift your chin slightly, maybe. Press down, stand up, and switch sides. Bring your arms down if you want to give yourself a rest, or keep them up. Turn your right foot in, turn your left foot out. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, sink down. Move your front knee out in line with your second toe. Check your stance. Press the outside edge of your back foot into the floor. And then roll your right hip back, your right ribs back. Look out over your left hand arm. Sink down. Move your knee out in line with your second toe. Engage the quad of the back leg. Engage your core. Press down, stand up, turn your left foot in and step your feet together. Come into mountain. Hands by your sides. Close your eyes, turn in. Press down with the feet into the floor. Squeeze the legs together. Stretch from your hips to your armpits. Broaden across the collarbones. Move your ears back. And now make your way to the back of your mat. Moving into high lunge, followed by down dog on one side, and then repeat it on the other. Inhale, lift your arms up, and take a big step forward with your right foot. Bend your front knee, sink down. Front shin vertical, thigh parallel, knee over ankle. Lift your back heel up to vertical. Engage your core, invite your shoulder blades onto your back. Lift your gaze. Stretch hands, arms up. Lift the back of your back knee up. Make sure your front knee is tracking with the root of your second toe. Gently lower to the floor and step back into down dog. Hands wide open shoulders, grip the floor with your fingertips. Externally rotate your upper arms, lift your hips up. Invite your heels to come towards the floor. Make sure your down dog is not too short, in case I would ask you to go into plank and you'd have to adjust your feet backwards. Looking at a space between your thumbs, melt your heart. Step forward with your left foot, lift your torso upright, lift your arms up, hand shoulder width apart, lift the back of your back knee up, lift your gaze, look up. Stretch your front knee away from your back heel. Lower to the floor to down dog. And bring your attention to your breath. And walk your hands to your feet and come and stand up and moving into eagle. Shift your weight onto your left foot and lift your right leg and wrap it around the left. And lift the left arm and wrap it around the right and hug the midline. Square towards the side of the mat. Lift your chest, stretch your spine, lift your gaze. And release and switch to the other side. Shift your weight onto your right foot and lift your left leg and wrap it around the right. And lift the right arm, wrap it around the left. Sorry, lift the right arm and wrap the left underneath. Keeping your back straight, bend your knees, lower your hip and sink down. Lift your gaze. Dropping into that place of stillness that's always there. Inhale, press down, stand up. We'll move into warrior 3 leg lifts. So either place your hands on your hips or stretch your hands out in front and bring your palms together, yogi's choice. So step forward with your left foot. I'm going to stretch my hands out in front. Bring your palms together and take your weight on your left leg. Lower your shoulders, lift your back leg behind you and begin to level the horizon of your buttocks. Flex and point your right foot. And gently release and switch to the other side. Lift your arms up. Step forward with your right foot. Bend your right knee. Take your weight on your right foot. Lean forward. Lift your back leg out behind you. Flex and point it. And gently release. Come on to your hands and knees and we'll make our way into twisted monkey. Step your right foot forward, front shin vertical, thigh parallel. Then reach back with your right hand and clasp the ankle of the back foot. Move your left hand out to the side of the mat. And then bring your heel into your buttock, roll your right hip back, your right ribs back, lift your chest, broaden across your collarbones, move your ears back, engage your core. And gently release and switch to the other side. Front foot back, back foot forward. Take your weight on your right hand, reach back with your left hand, clasp your ankle, bring your heel to your hip, move your right hand forward and out to the side, roll your left ribs back, your left shoulder back, lift your chest up, Move your ears back to look up. Beautiful. Back bend. Opening to possibility of new life. A new spring, a new summer. A new normal. And release. From here, moving to down dog and into side plank. Pivot your ankles, sorry, before I go. So we're in down dog. Move your right hand into the middle of the mat and then pivot your ankles to the right. Now this may be as far as you go, or you can lift your top leg and put it into tree. Lift your top arm up, or if that's not for you at all this morning, just place your foot on the floor. So number of poses there that you can take a choice with. And then press the sole of your right foot to the floor. Move your ears back. Come into plank, keeping your foot where it is. Float your shoulders over your wrists, lift your head, look up. And then pivot all the way over to the other side. Move your left hand into the middle of your wrist. Now, you can have your knee on the floor here, if you want to try that. Or, again, you have the other choices, just ordinary plank, side plank, and lift your top arm up. And gently release. And come into child's pose and take a breath. I'm sure you're ready for it now. More doable, knees wide apart. More difficult, knees together, stretch your arms out. Melt your heart. Sink back in your heels. Moving into 8-angle pose, Ashtangasana, move your knees back. Lower your chest to the floor, your chin to the floor, arms and cobra arms, point your elbows at the ceiling, turn your sit bones up, engage your core, gaze straight ahead. Forearms vertical. Sometimes it's easier to get into this pose by lying on the floor and coming into it, lifting your hips up. Slide your legs up behind you and come up onto your elbows. Clasp your hands together, press the tops of your feet into the floor, flare your toes. Elbows under shoulders. If you have anything going on in your lower back and you find it's just a little bit twingy in this pose, just tighten your glutes a little bit. See, does that make a difference? Or maybe press your tailbone away from you. Just create a little bit of space. Moving into endless pose, come and lie down on your side, your right hand side. Place your elbow in the middle of your mat. Line up your elbow with your shoulder, with your hip, with your heel. So if you have one of these mats with a line on it, now's a good time to use that line. And then bend your left knee and clasp the big toe with the first 2 fingers of your left hand. And then stretch your leg up and back a little bit. So it's the wibbly wobbly pose again. Pressing through your heels and both legs, engage your quads. And allow yourself to smile. Gently release and switch to the other side. And just go to the other end of the mat instead of turning my back to you. So you're lying on your left hand side, elbow in the middle of your mat, line up your heel with your hip, with your shoulder, with your elbow. Bend your right knee, clasp the big toe with the first two fingers, stretch your leg up, push up through your heel, bring your awareness to your breath. And gently release. And come and make your way up to kneeling. So coming into gate pose, knees hip width apart. Stretch your right leg out to the side, flex and point your toes. I like to use I like to use a block in this pose. So if you have a block, you don't have to use a block, but just try it out, or use a book, and then place your hand on the block so that your elbow is touching your knee. Then either place your left hand on your hip or lift your left arm over your shoulder and look up. Flare your toes of your back foot. Inhale, come back up and switch to the other side. Stretch your left foot out. Place your block just in front of your left knee. Place your hand on the block, bringing your toes of your left foot to the floor, and lift your right arm up and look up. Point your palm at the floor of your right hand. Inhale and make your way back up to center. And we'll move into camel reps. Knees hip width apart. Bend your elbows into your sides, point your palms down. Tops your feet onto the floor. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. Engage your glutes. Inhale, stretch your spine up, broaden across your collarbones, encourage your shoulder blades onto your back, and then lift your head and look up, and then push your hips forward, keep tight, keep engaging your glutes, and allow your head to come back, keep pushing your hips forward, keep your elbows into the side of your body, flare your toes. Inhale, come back up to center, and just feel how that feels in your body. You might have a little bit of cramp in your toes like I do at the minute, so I'm just turning them under, move them in a different direction. And from here, we're moving into full camel. Again, you can use your blocks and place your hands on blocks, or you can place your hands on your hips, like so. Your knees are hip width apart, or you reach back and place your hands on your heels. So inhale, lift your arms up, and then windmill them back. Push your hips forward and place your hands wherever you're placing them. Then squeeze your inner heels together. Keep pushing your hips forwards. Engage your glutes. Lift your chest up. Place your hands on your hips, squeeze your elbows back, make your way back up to center. And straight into kneeling sage. Stretch your right leg out. Turn your toes up. And again, I'm going to use blocks here. You can place your hands on the floor, or you can also clasp your ankle. So inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Place your hands on the blocks and walk them forward, or your hands on the floor and walk them forward. Push through your heels, draw your toes back. If your hands are on the floor, come up onto the tips of your fingers. Engage your quad of the right leg. Flare your toes of your back foot. Engage your biceps. Hug the muscles to the bone. Walk your hands back and switch legs. Right knee back, left foot forward, slightly out to one side. Press down with your back foot into the floor, flare your toes. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, hinge forward and place your hands either on the floor or on blocks or on your ankle, hinging forward. Push through your heel of the outstretched leg, draw your toes back, engage your quads. And release, making our way into elevated bow pose. So right arm to right leg. Shift your weight onto your left hand, your left knee. Lift your right knee off the floor. Reach back, clasp your ankle. Use your leg to lift your leg, kick your heel up and back. And then when you have your place of balance, lift your head, look up. Lift your knee up as high as you can. And release. And switch to the other side. Shift your weight onto your right foot, onto your right hand, your right knee. At the moment, I have a cramp in my back foot, so I'm just top of your foot on the floor. Ideal. If you're cramping, turn your toes under. Lift your back leg up, clasp your ankle, and use the leg to lift the leg, kick the heel up and back. And release. And now we're going to switch to the opposite hand to opposite foot. Swing your right foot across your left shin, reach back with your left hand and clasp your right ankle. And then, so it's opposite hand to opposite foot. Lift your knee up, lift your head, look up, flare your toes. It's much more balanced this way. Gently release and switch to the other side. Opposite hand to opposite ankle. Lift the left knee off the floor. Kick the heel up and back. Lift your chest. Knee up as high as you can. And release. Moving into fallen sage. Move through down dog. Pivot your ankles to the right. Then lift your right, slide your right foot forward in front of you. And separate your feet as far as you can. Float your shoulders over your wrists. So basically, you're in plank with crossed legs. You're on the outside edge of your right foot. On the inside edge of your left foot, you've lifted your hips. Lower your hips to the floor. Separate your legs even wider. Lift your torso upright. Place your weight on your hands, gaze straight ahead. Make both feet active. Then lower all the way to the floor and turn and look away from your right foot. So you cobra arms, forearms vertical. Legs straight, pushing through your heels. Back up, move through down dog. Pivot to the left, right to the left, yeah. And then slide your left foot forward. Come onto the outside edge of your left foot, the inside edge of your right foot. Hands shoulder width apart, float your shoulders over your wrists, lift your head, look up. Again, you're in plank with legs crossed. Lower down. Walk your hands back, torso upright. Separate your legs even wider. Push through your heels, engage your core. And then lower to the floor, bring your chest to the floor. And look away from your feet. Feet, cobra arms, forearms vertical. Feet separated, legs separated, push through your heels. And come back up. And from here, because it's yoga hour, you can try this or you can sit it out. So we've done all the warm-ups for it. In squat, and you can take a version of it with your knees pointing forward, turn to the right, and place your hands shoulder width apart. Your knees are pointing forward. Yeah? And then lean forward and bring your right knee, I said turn to the right, your right knee to the back of your elbow, your right hip to the back of your right elbow. So you're leaning into your elbows, your knees are together, and very gently lift your feet off the floor. Then stretch your right foot forward, your left leg back, and enjoy the view. Push through your heels, or any version of that you can do. Just squatting and turning maybe is enough for you today. And release. And switch to the other side, as you do. So feet together. So for those who, this is sort of the start, it's getting enough of a twist to get your body around. Even that, you're stretching your hip flexors, your quads, your glutes, everything, and that's the start. You've made the first step. For anyone that wants to try a bit more, walk the hands forward, hands shoulder width apart, bend the elbows, and then you're leaning into your elbows, and then very gingerly lifting your toes off the floor, and then stretching out the lower leg, stretching out the back leg. And release. Bet you're woken up now. Okay, and we're into pull forward fold with hands under feet. So feet hip width apart. Maybe I wonder should I do it this way. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, hinge forward, bend your knees. And then park the palms of your hands under the soles of your feet so that your fingers, your toes are coming up your wrists. Bend your elbows, allow your head to drop, lift your hips up. Begin to press the backs of your knees away from you. And release. I just, we're fast running out of time. So Let's make our way down into bridge pose. Lie on your back. Some of you might like to put a block under yourself in bridge pose. Yeah. So coming into bridge pose, and then I'm going to offer the upward bow as well for anyone that wants to try it. So I'll bring you into bridge pose, and then I'm going to move on into upward bow myself, okay? Bend your knees, place your heels in front of your hips. Inhale, press down, walk your arms in underneath, clasp your hands together, interlace your fingers. Press down with your feet into the floor, make sure they're hip width apart. Flare your toes. Lift your hips up as high as you can, invite your shoulder blades onto your back. Press your head into the floor, lift your chin up. Engage your glutes. Stay here, more doable. More difficult, place your hands under your shoulders, hands shoulder width apart, feet hip width apart, and then press down with your hands, press down with your feet, and either come up onto your head by looking towards the back of the room behind you, or come all the way up. So yogi's choice. Don't forget to breathe. And gently release. And come all the way down. I'm coming into constructive rest, which is with your knees bent, walk your feet out to the long edges of the mat. Allow your knees to lean in towards each other. And then place the palms of your hands below your navel, thumbs pointing towards your navel, index fingers pointing towards your pubic bone. And just rest. And we'll have one twist just to finish off as we're out of time. Stretch your legs out. Sorry, bend your knees, bring your knees into your chest. Then roll over onto your left-hand side with your knees bent and stretch your arms out. And then lift your head off the floor and look back towards your back arm. If your back arm is waving in the air, you can put it on a blanket or on a cushion, or bend your elbow, or bring it down by the side of your body. So don't be making any stiffness any worse. Just have a little bit of love and sympathy for what's going on in your body. Inhale back to center and roll over onto the right hand side. Bring your knees to the floor, keeping the knees together, ankles together, lift your head off the floor and look back towards your back arm. Bring your awareness to your breath. And just let go. Inhale, bring both knees into your chest. Give yourself the most delicious, loving, kindly hug. Love yourself because the universe loves you and you're a manifestation of the universe. And prepare for relaxation for the last 5 minutes. So get yourself a blanket. If you have an eye pillow, get an eye pillow. And stretch your arms out, stretch your legs out, and make yourself as relaxed as you possibly can. I'm going to play for you, the piece of music I'm going to play for you is called The Lark Ascending by Vaughan Williams. And it's just particularly appropriate today, so enjoy. Begin to deepen your breathing. Bring your awareness back to yourself, your attention to your body, your breath. Start to wake your body by moving your hands, your feet, perhaps giving yourself a stretch. And in your own time, bend your knees, roll to one side, and just pause on one side. Pause between the awareness of being and the actually doing world. And then push yourself with your hands and come and sit up. So I'd like to read you a poem before we finish. It's called The Goddess Within, and it's by Myrna Brown. Where she passes, wildflowers bloom. When she calls, wild creatures come. Where her hands rest, healing flows. When her song soars, nature glows. When she journeys, power begins. She walks with angels, the goddess within. Bring your hands to your heart. Close your eyes. Turn in to the goddess within. To honor ourselves, each other, practice, and the return of summer to our lives, we close with one Om. Exhale. Inhale. Thanks for practicing. Thanks for coming on to practice, and see you on the mat.